It's time for Maggie and the Moms. Sponsored by Tampa General Hospital.
All I want for Christmas is the time, energy, and money to handle, survive the holidays, and to make sure my kids remember the reason for the season and feel grateful for what they have. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. Ladies, what do you think? Danielle is here. You know
Hello.
her from the radio.
Yes,
Magic
yes.
94.9. Let me hear that voice. Give me a radio voice.
Oh, what do you want me to do? Like, are we talking into Justin Bieber? I would say something like, ooh, Justin Bieber. He used to be a baby and now he has a baby. They're celebrating their first Christmas this year. Magic 94.9. Like it's pretty much the same. I do think you feel like a need to enunciate a little bit more.
You do.
But it's the same.
It is the same voice.
Yeah, I try to be, because you don't want to be like this.
Well,
That's not
sometimes
good.
when I used to be in news, my kids would say, you have a news voice.
Well, there is a news
and
voice.
then you have a mom voice.
Well, I think we slowed
Laura
down.
Byrne, by the way, editor of Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine, also former recovering news person like
Yes.
myself.
Yeah.
What were you going to say about the news voice?
I think we just slowed down. I'm a very fast talker in normal, right?
Yes.
So when we did our news voice, it's because we slowed down, but maybe
Yes.
we're a pitch or
From
two
an
lower.
outsider, I would say
What's
there's
the news voice,
definitely
Danielle?
emphasis put on specific words and the way, and it's probably something that you learn in school. And it's
Non-regional accent.
literally what they tell us to take it out. They want you to be, because as soon as you put a microphone in front of someone's face in radio, like the thought is that you have to talk a
You want
certain
the
way.
opposite.
But I was always taught, like, hey, think about it. If you're driving next to your best friend in the car, are you going to use the words that you're using? Are you going to use the
Exactly.
tone that you're using? I think it's just like breaking out of that. And it's hard to do.
I promise that we're going to get to our podcast topic, but this is fun because Deanna Moore, over there on the control, executive producer of Daytime, when I first started here, do you remember, Deanna, I had mostly only done news, and I had to do this lifestyle show now, which is just fun. And I used to finish the show and say, I hated it. I'm so newsy. I'm so newsy.
No, she was doing a good job, guys. Look, come on, it's Maggie. Let's be
I
honest.
mean,
But she was taking like the news voice to lifestyle. So she even makes fun of herself. She's like, let's take a closer look.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daytime.
you were on. I remember watching you. You were national mornings, and that's more of it's a lighter tone
But you
than
know
maybe
what's
the
funny
evening
is
news.
the
So you
first
kind of had to prep.
the first hour of the morning show, we would do more serious
Yep.
topics, and I did find that in the second hour when we got more cash, my voice would change. And now I think a good rule of thumb, whether you're doing news or whether you're doing lifestyle, is to just be a human being.
And it's
Can you
hard.
just be a human being?
If you're just yourself, it's the easiest thing to be, but also the hardest thing to be sometimes.
And as news reporters, we have to say allegedly and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like you said, who
see,
talks like that? When you're
actually-
talking to your best friend, you're going to go, the suspect allegedly fled on foot. No,
I
the guy ran away.
Initially, I had this big dream to do entertainment reporting. Like was what I was going to do. And I stopped at radio as an internship because I'd gone to like Next Big Thing, which is like this music festival. I was like, man, it looks so cool from this direction. I want to see it from the stage next year. And I just wanted that experience. And it wasn't until I got there, I worked there the next year, was hired 4 days before that next festival came around. I got to see it from the other side, that I realized like, oh my gosh, I am not being judged for how I look.
Yep.
I don't have to like have unbiased opinions about things, and I also don't have to wear real pants ever. And that was a trifecta.
I'm glad we can't see right now because I'm kidding. She's wearing real pants. All right,
barely.
so I know that you all tuned in to hear us talk about Christmas. But that was a fun detour. But I do want to get to this topic because you both have two boys.
Yep.
Deanna, you have two girls.
Yes.
I have two kids. This is the Mother of Two Club. And we're talking about how to navigate everything that comes. And look, I have to like touch my head because I have a headache just thinking about it. Everything that comes with Christmas. It shouldn't be this way.
Yeah.
It should be merry and bright. And it's become so incredibly stressful. And then there's the whole question of excess. All the gifts that the kids want. And that one TikTok mom who said, buy them all the gifts. Let's start there. What do we think about the notion of letting kids ask for whatever they want and encouraging that to have all the toys at Christmas?
I'm okay with them asking for what you can ask for whatever you want. Let's set the expectation that just because you ask for it does not mean that Santa's dropping it off, does not mean mom and dad are getting it. Like, I think because there is something to me in memories that happen without physically doing something, right? That's literally just frozen in time. Hey, when you were this old, like I remember my older son when he was 2 begged for mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Then my youngest son begged for Christmas or begged for ketchup one year. So like those
But
things
you're
are
not
there.
talking about for Christmas.
Yeah, he asked for mac and cheese.
Wait,
and
what?
Yeah, he got mac and cheese from Santa like a ton. Of
What?
And then
I've never heard of
That
anything
seems
like
like
that
a
before.
dream match.
That is
Like-
crazy.
yeah,
So
mac and
cheap
cheese.
and easy.
That's great.
Sat right in his lap and asked for mac and cheese, and he delivered.
Okay, but this woman was talking about toys, material things.
This year,
Are
there's
we promoting excess if we say ask for whatever you want?
I'm promoting
think-
dream big, but be realistic.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, hey, you
Yeah.
can't always get what you want, right? So it's a good lesson in that. You can ask, but you're not going to get everything. But for me, it's just, and I get like 100% get where she's coming from. My kids are 11 and 9, so we're not asking for as many things. I mean, it's still the puppy. We still
Right.
get that every year, but Santa says, nope, can't do it. Can't put a puppy in a sleigh. But it's
that's a
kind
lie.
of sad.
But your kids aren't listening.
I know,
so
well,
that's
yeah.
okay. He can.
But it is sad because when they're little, I remember it's so much fun to buy toys when they're little and you want to buy them all the things. But the reality is they're not going to play with everything.
They don't.
I just went through and we had to
And
renovate
they're
our
not
house
going to
and move out.
appreciate it if they have
No.
5,000 things
Yeah.
that
I
they
have-
open. They're
Laura,
like,
I'm
thank
gonna
you
be
next.
podcast specific here, but scooch over a little bit for me
Oh,
and face
yes.
us. We want to
Okay.
see your pretty face.
Oh, here we go.
We
Okay.
wanna see
'Cause
your
some
pretty,
people might
pretty
be
This
face.
is my
watching.
first podcast like this, by the way. It is. It's kind of weird. You know, obviously I'm used to mics, but this is like, whoa.
In your
So I
face.
hope
In your
am I doing this right? I'm not eating it, right?
You look, no, you look great.
You're doing
Sound
great.
great. Just want to see you.
It's not as good as the mac and cheese that was under Danielle's tree. Okay, so I feel like, you know, the kids open the gifts and they just toss them aside
Yep.
and they never play with them.
Nope.
It's easier said than done, but shouldn't we be promoting not excess, the opposite of excess? Because really, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday in large part because we don't have to deal with what Christmas has become. It's
Yep.
supposed to be celebrating the birth of Christ. Does that get buried? Like,
Oh, it absolutely gets buried.
does,
I mean, if you maybe we're going to get too deep.
Go
down the
ahead,
big
go
hole
ahead.
Here,
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
I really like to not like drive it down their throats, but just to let them know that this is what Christmas is about.
Yeah.
And even if you're not a religious person and you don't celebrate, people should still know the history of what Christmas is. Because then all it just becomes is like, oh, this is the time where we get gifts.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. And like, no, that's not what it's really about. So let's
I
really
feel like
teach.
we've commercialized every holiday.
we have
Honestly,
not Thanksgiving
it's
yet.
like, well, not
right?
yet.
Knock on wood.
I know.
Poor
I mean, but we've got
Thanksgiving.
all like the things that come with Thanksgiving, right? Like it's like we just have so many things. And you know, I look back though, we were talking about the toys and just cleaning out our house when we had to renovate and just so many toys. And
Yes.
it just to
And
me
unopened even,
yeah,
right? You were
unopened.
saying.
I'm able to at least donate those, but it's
Right.
and I donated everything. Listen, I wasn't even going to bother trying to sell it. I'm like,
No.
it's just gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
But a lot of things I just never played with, and I kept thinking, oh my gosh, the amount of money I wasted,
Yes.
family wasted, birthday parties and friends, like toys that they received throughout the years that they never
It's
opened.
wrong,
like,
but
the
what
box
do we
still in a
do
box.
about it? It's wrong. We can all agree.
Yeah.
It's not right. How do we fix it?
It's hard because the thing is like they're going to go to school, right? And they're going to
Yeah.
have friends and they're going to talk to their friends. And so it's not like you're trying to keep up with, but it's also like if you go to bare bones, right?
Right.
And you're getting the two things, let's call it two things. And
Okay.
you know they're going to play with these two things. They're going to love these two things. And then they go back to school and it's like, well, what'd you get? What'd you get? And they're just rattling off. Then it's just such a weird.
See, I think my when we lived in New York, my daughter came home one day and she says, "How come we don't have a house in the Hamptons?"
Yeah.
You know, other kids are gonna have more, and
Yes.
that's
That's life,
good, and that's
always.
okay. So, but I like where you were going with that, because let's say you get like the two main things that they want, the kids get for Christmas, and then you can. You know, they can get a bunch of other little tchotchkes that don't cost a lot.
Dude,
that
tchotchkes is
that
the
are
word in my house
throwaway,
all
that
the
are
time.
literally throwaways.
Yes.
But then there's
Swag
the
is the
feeling
worst. Yeah.
of getting a lot on Christmas
Yep.
morning. I think you could be onto something
And
right
as
there.
I'm saying those words, I want to eat them right back
Why?
up of like trying to keep up with that. Because then think about it. No, maybe I'm totally wrong. You like sit, if I could be a fly on the wall the day after Christmas break, when all those kids go back and the teacher's sitting up front and the teacher goes, oh, what did you guys get for Christmas? That kid's only saying like 2 things. They're probably only saying 2 things.
Our director,
what do they remember?
Our director, who is kind of like my parenting guru because he has kids that are grown and they are all
they turned
amazing
out great.
kids.
Yes, they did.
He told me
they're all amazing.
does-
Like there's not one that's just kind of off the rails.
Well, the dad is, but the kids
he's
are great.
off the rails, right? Yeah, Chip's off the rails. He told me that he does this thing, and I don't know, maybe some parents might want to shut the volume down for 10 seconds while I say this. But he
Okay.
does a thing,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert,
We're telling you right now.
where he will say these things are from us, the more expensive things. And he might say, and again, spoiler alert, parents.
Yeah.
The things that are like socks and underwear and the dumb tchotchkes are from Santa because
Yeah.
kids are going to go back to school, the less
Yep.
fortunate kids, and they're going to go, but Santa doesn't love me.
That's a
Yeah,
whole
why
other
didn't I get an
problem.
iPad?
That's a whole
yeah.
other
Exactly.
problem.
Exactly. So I think
Yep.
about that too. We're doing all this excess, and there are some kids who don't get everything.
Yep.
And I'm trying, it's everything in moderation, right, Maggie?
Yes, that's our
The
motto.
give and take is if you want the scooter and the Nintendo Switch, then you're going to write letters to people in the homeless shelters or to the senior citizens homes and be nice and give back and take the little candy
Yep.
cane off the tree and
Right.
take your money and buy something for a kid who's less fortunate. And then maybe you'll get the scooter.
Exactly.
And they're learning the reason for the season,
Which
right?
is
giving
what we
back
want.
and
Exactly.
But that brings us to making time for all of it, right? Because I feel like as moms, and this is probably not every household, but I would venture to say most households, we are in charge of everything,
Yep.
Yeah.
especially around the holidays.
Have you
Right?
ever
Everything.
So I have literally looked at my husband, sweet man that he is. There's nothing wrong with him. He
Bless
innocent
his
as can
heart.
be. And I look at him and I've said to him, I'm like, God, to be you right now, to be you. You have no idea what's in that wrap present. You have no idea what he wants for Christmas. You have no idea what your mom's getting. I've done all of that.
Exactly.
Like last night, he goes, man, the last couple days, you're just like, I just got home from work. I really want to spend time with you. And I was like, bro, love you. I have so many tabs open in my brain. And he goes, well, what are you doing? And I go, are you talking about right now? What am I doing? I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about moving that. And I'm thinking about making sure that I get something coordinated because now I own a business. So now there's other things that I'm taking care of a full staff. And now I'm making sure we've got like an angel tree and I want to make sure that's taken care of. And I hold myself to a high responsibility to make sure that we come through for that. Like the amount of tabs that we all have open and that are able to be open because of the access to Amazon and technology and targeting you through Instagram ads and targeting you here and getting you there. It's insane.
It's insane. And then what I find is it really does take the joy out of it. Like when you're just opening Amazon at a red light and ordering whatever to scratch it off, that is not gift giving as intended. It's supposed to be thoughtful. It's supposed to be meaningful for you, the giver, and for the person who receives it. But we have so much to do. We're like, oh my gosh, I need to get a present for X. Red light.
Yep.
I've done this. Amazon, scroll.
Or
Okay,
stopping
boom,
at
order.
Walgreens on Christmas Eve, right? Like that just, you're right. It doesn't
not
count.
Right. But
Yeah.
there's so much on our
Yeah.
plate. We have to decorate the house and decorate the tree and cook and host and plan and buy gifts for everybody, not just your
Everybody.
family.
Yeah. I just really,
any
part of me, I just
solutions?
want like a holiday where can we just not, and then it's funny though, when it comes to us, well, my husband's like, oh, well, you got the gift of a renovation. So it's like, there's nothing for us to open sometimes. Isn't that when you think about it?
Do you guys give each other presents,
No.
you and your spouse for
have,
Christmas?
never.
But I always get something useful. Like I've received a vacuum. I, for a birthday once, received a bidet.
you got a bidet for your birthday.
I didn't ask for it. He gave it to me, but it's actually really wonderful. And now every toilet in the house has one,
The
and
gift
it's
of a
amazing.
clean bum.
It was actually before COVID, so it really came in
Priceless.
use. When toilet paper was like nowhere to be found. But it's a useful thing. It's not really because I'm not a jewelry.
So are
person.
you not the women who would get upset if they got a toaster or a food
No.
processor?
No, I kinda
are you
want
that
it, like,
woman?
Well, no, that I ask for that
know?
kind of stuff. I like
Yeah.
when
Me
I
too.
if I say give me a baked thing because I like to bake. But
Yeah.
if you're the woman who you don't like to bake and your husband buys
Well,
you a toaster, or
like,
you
what are you
don't
trying to
want to
say?
clean
Like,
and
yeah.
your husband
Right.
buys you, or you don't want to lose weight, but somehow you got a Weight Watchers. You know what I'm talking
divorce.
about? Yeah,
That's a divorce.
Exactly.
Is what
That's
that is.
dangerous.
Honestly, there's a Lifetime, I think, or maybe Hallmark movie, Christmas movie. It's my favorite Christmas movie because it's called Moms on Strike.
Oh, I need to watch this one.
Yes, where all the women for the month of December, they didn't do a thing and they had their husbands do. It's my favorite holiday.
And how did
Christmas
that
movie.
work out?
What you think?
Yeah,
Nothing happened. There were no
I have
lights.
too
There
much
was no
control
Christmas
issues for
tree.
that.
Exactly.
That's the thing too.
That's
I complain and then I'm like, no, let me do that. You
Yeah.
don't know how to do that.
I will say,
I do have that
like,
problem.
It's a
I
give and
do.
take.
My husband, at least, he loves to decorate for Christmas, and he does love to cook. But everything else, as far as like
And
the
he
gift
buys the good
giving
wine.
and he buys the good wine, yes. I know. So I was like, okay, so there is that added bonus, but like everything else, it is all on us. And I think often though people forget about us.
I know.
And it's sometimes, but it's just buying gifts for people stresses me out because it just goes back to that like, but are they really going to want this? Are they really like? I don't know.
Oh, I don't think about that anymore.
You don't. You just.
I
just
don't.
buy it?
I know what
I
you
don't
like,
know.
and if you don't like it anymore, I don't know, man. I was busy and I was trying.
Right.
But again,
Do
that
you,
goes right
do you
back to what you
include gift
said.
receipts with your Christmas presents?
If I'm not sure,
okay.
if I'm sure though, I'm keeping that receipt.
I have.
You'll
I
be
do
grateful.
for birthday for other kids, but I haven't for my own. I
Christmas.
mean, I guess
I try
no.
to. My philosophy is to buy something that maybe they wouldn't buy for themselves, but that
Yeah.
I think they would enjoy.
And I think one thing to say is I know everybody feels like a gift card is like a lazy, like a cop out.
Yeah.
But it's
But think
not.
about how
Yeah.
excited
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
when you get a gift card and you get to choose what you want. So one way that we've actually made it a lot easier in our family is we do buy gifts we don't do it for like brothers and sisters, but moms and dads and grandparents and all that. I will usually go out, I'll have a day and I'll hit all the spots and it's gift cards. And then we just split the money down the middle. I go to the dollar store. I found out last year, they've got the tins for the dollar, for the gift
Yes.
cards for
Yeah.
$1.
So you're
I buy
still
a ton of
opening
those.
something.
You're opening it. It's
Yeah.
a gift card. And then that has taken a lot of the stress out of it. Or just kind of put it all in one day as
Right.
opposed to a bunch of days.
Okay, this is not for everybody,
Yes.
but I am very type A. So I start roughly around the end of August, beginning of September.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that annoying?
Christmas
You too,
stuff.
Danielle?
But there's probably really good deals though. Then, right? Because because they start clearing out some of their stuff to get ready
Deanna,
for the holidays.
I'm also a
Maybe?
frugal and that like it's like this paycheck is going to go for this
Yep.
gift. The next
Okay.
paycheck is going to go for this.
Okay.
gift.
100%.
Yep.
I was good. So
She's so good at that.
my son yesterday, he goes, Mom, on Christmas morning, I want to open the thing you brought home from Aldi one day. And so I know exactly what he's talking about. This is in September.
Okay.
I was grocery shopping at Aldi, where I would never grocery shop anywhere else. It's so cheap. And I was going down the treasure
cool. It's like a
find
treasure
aisle.
hunt at Aldi.
It is my.
It's a treasure. Are we deviating again?
I'm
Because
sorry,
I will.
now
I will go there.
I have never been.
You
so-
will
They
cut
just
your
opened
grocery-
one in our
putting it-
neighborhood,
I'm
Laura.
putting this on my list.
Okay.
of, like,
Cut your
places to
grocery
love
bill
it.
in half.
Okay.
And there's
Love
this.
it.
a
You're gonna love
treasure
it.
hunt.
There's
Okay.
an aisle
It's
in the
awesome.
middle of every Aldi
Yes,
where
that's
it's
what I'm
like
talking about, the
seasonal
treasure hunt.
stuff. And you like, I go in there, my brain, I'm open-minded. Like, show me what you got, Aldi. Let me.
And it's a European thing, so it's always fancy.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
like
Cool.
you feel
Okay.
so
We've got a
fancy.
$40 espresso maker at Aldi. $40.
Okay, we got to stop because we're not.
I know. Anyway,
I know, I know,
so
I
I'm
know,
going
I
down
know.
this aisle and I see a gift that would be perfect for him. So I picked it up. And he saw me bring it home and I said, can't look at that. And he goes, is it for my birthday? And I said, no, not for your birthday. I already know what I'm doing for your birthday. And I said, this is the first Christmas present I bought this year.
Very
But
cool.
you know, this does bring up one thing. It's like maybe the gift giving. It is kind of a gift still, but my favorite thing to put together every Christmas is the stocking. The stocking
Yes.
stuffers.
Yeah.
Because it's
Aren't
all
the
fun
kids
little small
happier
things, candy.
with the
Yeah.
stocking than the gifts?
Yes, I think
No?
so.
I'm selling, as the kids would say. That is the last thing I think of. And
Yes,
probably I'm
but
wrong
aren't
for
they
that.
happier with all the junk you put in there?
I don't know that it's so much happier as it's like the last thing we do. So it's like, oh, we're done
Yeah.
with the gifts, but we have a stocking.
True. Some people
Like,
do it
it's-
we
first.
do it first. Yeah.
Okay. No, we do it last.
Yeah,
like
you do it
9
last.
o'clock
Okay.
at night.
We do it last.
Yeah,
Oh, you do it at
we
night?
first
Yeah.
because it's on the couch.
Wait, do
Because
we
if
do it
it's-
last or first? No, we do it last.
Because you know, it's
That's how they
the-
torture Deanna.
No, because there's activities all day long. It's
Okay.
like we go to my
Yeah.
parents, or we go to
True.
his parents, and we eat dinner, and they open the gifts, and then last thing, it's like,
That's
yay,
really
one
cool.
more thing of crap.
Actually, that's a good idea because it's all the it's like
And they
little
love that.
candies and
Love it.
like maybe little Lego thing for us. And, it's just like always like little things that
like
they'll actually
Dollar
use. Or,
Tree,
like, I put toothbrushes.
The entire Dollar Tree is in that stocking.
Yeah. It's like things they need too, though. It's funny though, I will say. I put underwear in for the boys once, and their cousin came
I've done
over.
that.
And
And
spoiler
socks.
alert, volume down. And their cousin's like, "Why did Santa bring you underwear?"
Well, I don't think
Mom snuck it in there and Santa left.
Yeah, I don't think Santa handles some stockings, but Santa doesn't handle. I've learned that Santa does not handle all stockings.
No.
Depends
No.
on which elf
I
you're
put
at.
stuff
got
in
that
there, right?
question.
So
Like when does Santa stop getting you stuff, Mom? Or does Santa do your stocking? Wait, who does Dad do your stocking, or does Santa do your stocking? And I'm like,
maybe we need to look at our husbands and be like, "Hey, who's going to do my stocking this year?"
Yeah, who's doing my stocking?
Yeah.
who
That's a
does your
good point.
stocking?
I do my own stocking.
Oh, my husband does my stocking.
I do
No,
my
my
own.
husband does not. No,
Girl, I got socks right now
it's
for
the
my
use-
Our
It's like
stocking.
the
stockings
useful-
are empty, the adults.
Really? Oh, mine is full of candy
Oh.
and scratch offs.
I will. I dig. Okay,
a great
oh,
gift. That
okay,
is a
he
great
has
gift.
given me scratch offs, so that is fun. I will say it is fun to do the scratch off.
So
Yeah.
we deviate a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'm curious to know what your specific family traditions are, because that always fascinates me. Just any Christmas tradition. You want to go first, Deanna?
No, because
You don't want to go first. Like,
Do you
how do you
know-
do Christmas, or what's it?
I guess we're super generic. I don't know.
Well, that might be generic
do,
to you. I don't know.
right? I don't know.
You have
It's like
anything?
you do. Obviously, with kids, the first thing they want to do is presents. And
So
it's always
wait,
like
do they wake up on their own, or does mom and dad?
100%. But my kids
But
are
I
early
don't
risers
want
in
them
general,
to be
but-
out there without me.
No, we have
witnessing.
an agreement.
This
Yeah,
is
you
where the
can't-
stocking comes in use.
Okay.
Because I'm like, you can't open the presents yet. Let us get up for a second and get somewhat dressed because I'm going to be taking pictures. And just go through your stocking. And it's
Oh.
good. Like, it's good.
And they do that in
stalling.
their room or out where the stockings
on,
hung?
on the couch.
On the
So
couch.
do they? Okay, so do your kids see the tree before you're awake?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mine do not.
me-
They know.
nope,
They know.
same
Wake
here.
up.
They can't come out till we go get them.
Yes, they
Oh,
went.
that's-
So they went through the plan. We reset the plan
Yeah.
again the other day. He's like, "Hey, okay, so Christmas, can we have a sleepover in each other's rooms on Christmas?" I said, "Yes, you can do that on Christmas Eve." And he goes, "Okay, so then in the morning, how do we get you? Do we?" And I'm like,
Call me
"You're
on your
in the
cell."
room above me, bang on that floor. If you think I'm not already very awake, you're wrong." And then they yell, and then we all go together.
My poor children, they will be awake for a long time sometimes. They're like, oh my gosh.
Even now?
Well,
Like
no,
to this-
now they're
oh,
14
okay.
and 19.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll still wait for us to get them because we
Aw,
want to do it together.
really?
Yeah.
So do you
But
wake
when
up
they
on
were-
your own?
I mean, I'll try to get up semi-early.
What's semi-early in your house?
On
5.
Christmas morning.
We're at 5.
Yeah.
Well, no, we wake up at 5 on weekdays, but Christmas morning, 7, 8. And they're waiting sometimes like, finally, we heard, we know it's out there. We can't come out.
My
Is
parents.
that torture? I'm just
It
saying
is.
this out
Yeah,
loud.
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
it
oh.
is.
I have to wake my kids up.
What?
8 and 10, and I'm every
What?
year because I'm the one who's like up, and I'm
Oh,
like,
'cause you
my
get up
husband's
early.
still sleeping. I'm like, can we just get this show on the road?
Let's
and
do
I'm
the Christmas
like,
morning.
Santa kid.
Oh my gosh.
My husband says that when he was a kid, he would come out and Santa did not wrap his presents. And I think that is not normal.
I've heard of that.
No,
though.
me
I've
and
heard
you
of
have
that.
talked about
Listen,
this.
I was
in my
really
house,
close.
Santa does not wrap presents.
Santa doesn't?
No.
To this day.
To this day,
I thought that was when you were a kid.
No, I do exactly what my parents do.
Oh.
Santa
You
doesn't
probably-
wrap presents.
I'm sorry I called it weird, but I just think it's weird.
It's okay. I guess.
Because like they like pick up the box and they like shake it. Ooh, I think I
like,
know what
what's
this
in here?
is. Ooh.
No, those are mom and dad's presents that we get them. Grandma and grandpa's presents are
okay,
wrapped.
I
but
see.
Santa's present, like a
I
bike.
see.
You know,
Oh, man.
Well, that's
I-
what Mike
it's-
said. He's like, yeah, and it's assembled. If it's a bike, it's assembled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that would be
Yeah.
the worst. Here's the bike. Give me about 2 hours.
Yeah, no, of course. If it's a bike,
Let me figure this out real quick.
Last Christmas, I had
gave
the
you
flu.
my heart.
Thank God
yes,
it wasn't
right?
just me.
I gave you the flu in this case. So it's like 11 o'clock. You have full on body aches. And I'm putting together all these, like my hands can't. I'm like, this is torture. I can't even go and get gift bags now. How do I not have any gift bags in this house to put these gifts in? I'm having to wrap everything. And my husband is not helping. And finally
Because
he comes
that's
in.
your job, Laura.
Well, yeah, right? Because he never does it every year. He finally comes in and he sees me trying to put together this, what is it? Like with the soccer and the little, what are they called? Foosball.
oh yeah.
And my fingers and he finally like takes over to help. But it's like, Really?
See, in that moment, you should have been like,
it's-
dude, I have the flu. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Why
I
do we
mean,
put that on ourselves?
I'm a big
Why
asker.
are we like that? You're a big asker.
I will ask for help, and I learned that after our oldest son. Like my husband and I have never, like, I don't know why. I feel very blessed, very grateful. We don't have arguments. We are doing good. Every once in a while, I'm like, you chew too
That's
loud,
awesome.
you whatever. But it's very low key.
awesome.
But
love
I
that.
did
How
notice.
long have you been married?
14 years.
Oh, bravo.
I did notice that when we had our oldest son, all of a sudden we were like bickering, which had never happened. I'm like, this is so strange. Like, this is the happiest thing, and he's great and he's healthy. And why are we bickering? And I quickly realized it's because I have a very clear understanding of what needs to be done in our house with the kids, with everything. And he does not have that understanding. And to take it a step further, if I were to just ask for what I believe needs to be done, he's very willing to help. And so I tapped into that.
Did he tell you that, or you just figured that out?
I don't remember.
But either way, he's good with it.
Yeah, he's great with it.
Wow.
Literally changed my entire life when I started
Would
asking.
he? I don't know. I think if asking my husband to
always,
wrap.
my husband
presents.
always says, I'm like, why didn't you ask me to help you? And he says, because I want it to just come to you. I want that to come from you. I don't want to have to ask you to do stuff.
Yeah. No.
And I'm like, gosh,
yeah, but
you
that's a
should've.
really sad, that's what I was too. And that's a really bad place to be, because then you're sitting there, and the more that it's not naturally coming to the other person,
Right,
it's just
right.
stirring up in
And
you.
it's not because they're a bad person.
Right.
They're happy
No,
to help.
And
And maybe they're a
that's
little
just what they
clueless.
really think. Yeah,
I
and
think
that's
it was
probably what it is.
I must have it must have come to where I like got really angry about something, and then I saw his face and like the true bewilderment. I'm like, this sweet, poor little clueless man just has no idea what needs to be
I'm
done.
different. See, there's
Okay, go.
Christmas time and there's every other time. Christmas time, I actually like doing everything for Christmas.
because you're going to do it the right way.
Right. And she
Yeah,
starts
if
2
he
months
helps,
in
it's gonna
advance.
mess everything
I
up,
love it.
right?
This is
Yeah.
my happy place.
Yeah.
Planning things is my happy place. So
That's true.
He's going to help me with the gifts, and when we lock ourselves in
Yeah.
the room and we get everything together and assembly is required.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to maybe February is when it goes back to normal, when I'm doing that passive aggressive, like, I'm over here doing everything. And you think this dish is going to put itself in the sink?
Yep.
Christmas is a different time.
Okay. All right.
But
All
then
right.
it's also, in a way, you almost don't want their help, because like, well, how much did you spend on this? And how much did this cost? And it's like, oh, I'll just do it myself. And they won't even like,
That's
Yeah,
true,
they
too.
won't
You know?
question. They
So
don't know
it's
what's in the
kinda
box.
like,
Too.
you
Speaking
know?
of how much did this cost, I want to tackle one more topic related
Okay.
to this. How do we, because Huff posted a piece that I thought was really great. How do we make sure that we're not raising spoiled children?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we talked about it on Maggie and the Moms, the TV segment. Some of the obvious signs of that you're raising a spoiled child are things like if you tell them no and they throw a tantrum, if they think that the world centers around them, if they are entitled, if, they're sore losers, that kind of thing. But one of the best things they said was there is no gene for being spoiled. Spoiled is a behavior, which means it's learned, which means it can be unlearned.
Yeah.
So mamas, how do you go about making sure that your children aren't spoiled?
well, I get just not giving them everything they want is the big thing. But I'll admit there are times I'm tired. And, spoiled comes in many forms. It's not just like spoiling and like giving them things.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just letting them do things because you're just, and so I'm like, okay, fine. You want more time on the video game? I'm exhausted. Fine.
They take advantage of
They know, but they
that
know
moment.
when to
Oh,
take
they
advantage
learn.
of. They're
They
smart.
learn.
They know when I don't have the fight in me to say
Yes.
like, because sometimes you're just tired. And then I'm like, gosh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have let them because then my son will go and say to my husband, oh, well, mom let me do it. So, and my husband's like, you need to be more like stick with the rules.
It's
These are
hard
the
when
rules.
you're so
And-
exhausted.
Yeah.
I let the rules slip all the time when I'm in that place. And that's one of my biggest challenges, I will say, as a mom.
But I think that's okay.
It
Now,
is.
I
Is it?
think we have an issue here with the four of us tackling this topic.
Yeah.
Because Laura, you've talked about this before, and I relate with you. We have really cool jobs.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
get
Yeah.
stuff for free.
Oh, it's hard.
Media passes
Yes.
and places to
Yeah.
go. And I think sometimes, like when I'll say to my girls, "We're going to go do this fun thing,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "Cool," because they've already done it.
Oh, well, I know.
And I'm
Isn't
like,
that funny? It's like,
wait.
oh, you got invited to by Disney or this place or that, and it's like, and then they're like, oh, they've done it so often, or you've had, and then they're just kind of like, oh, so how lucky you are.
Hard.
I have
Maybe then you don't take them to everything because then they don't appreciate
Honestly,
It's getting
nowadays,
that way.
I get more done when they're not with me. And I'm like, I just have to. Thankfully, influencer children are ready to go and take the picture, and their moms are okay with it. So I'm like,
I grew up with not a lot of anything. And so I went to Disney one time in my life, and I lived here my whole life. My mom, I guess, asked for tickets for her birthday, and that's how I went to Disney once.
Wow.
So by the time my kids were like walking, they'd already been like 5-6 times. And it was that struggle, right? Because working in radio, I was doing broadcasts, and you do a broadcast at Disney, man, they're giving you a hotel. They're rolling out the red carpet.
it's not special anymore.
You're fist bumping Mickey. You're not waiting for anything. And I'm like, man, it's really, I have to figure out a balance to this. And so one day, I remember my oldest was probably like 5. So I felt like he kind of started to understand the concept of time. And I remember we were walking at Magic Kingdom, the like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that's what the park is. We were walking past that ride. And I looked as we walked to get in our queue line. I said, hey, see this guy right here? And pointed at the last guy in line. And he goes, yeah. And I go, hang on to that thought for a second. I want you to remember that guy. I'm going to tell you something about him in about 2 minutes. He goes, okay. So we walk and we get in and we walk right up and we sit on the boat. And I said, hey, do you remember the guy I just pointed at the end of the line? And he goes, yeah. And I said, I want you to understand. I said, and I know it's hard for you sometimes. I said, that man is going to stand for as long as it took us to drive from our front door to this park today, just to sit in the seat that you literally walked up and sat
Danielle,
in.
wow.
And I don't know, like, it's my hope that he understood it that much at the time.
That's such a good way to put it.
But it's hard because, like, what am I going to do? Are we going to stand? That's the thing. Like, I probably should stand him in line, but I was trying to, like, paint the picture. Did it work?
That is brilliant. You know, we went to Disney one time through my previous job, and we got the royal treatment. We even went in like the back way and got on every ride like that. And when it was over, my husband said, even if we have the opportunity to do that again, let's not ever do that again.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like Disney World. When we were kids, you waited in line.
Yeah. Yep.
You walked into the Magic Kingdom and you got that first view, and it was that wow moment. Our kids today did not feel any of that. And yes, waiting in line might be a pain, but tell me that the anticipation when you're waiting in that line wasn't like, I made it.
That's a really good point, because I went with my son and his friend, and we ended up having to wait in line. I couldn't get the Fast Pass or whatever it's called now. And they spent that 90 minutes just talking and planning a video game they were going to create. And I was totally left out of the conversation, by the way. But I was like,
But that's great. That's
when you think
when would
about
they
it,
have
I
that
was like,
conversation otherwise?
Right.
yeah. And I was like, you know what? Maybe waiting, just take advantage of that time. Don't pull out the phone and like, because we're so, every time we always like, we don't, there's that concept of like, just in general of wait, like we want everything right now, right? Like,
instant
We
gratification.
want to buy the present or like, you know, like on Amazon right away and this and this. You know what? Maybe waiting in line is not a bad thing.
I think that should be a new rule. Like
But
you wait
I-
in line and use the time wisely.
no matter where
is it?
you are.
Yes.
I posed that question, but then I also, my mind works in the weirdest ways, and where I'm like, okay, I want to teach them that lesson. But at the same time, we are living in some weird, like crazy times, right? So at this, I also go, I want to give them the best, most fun experience right now. Give them the world.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the future holds. Is that weird?
No, I don't feel
I mean, like,
that.
you don't know how those experiences
Well, yeah, because
change.
maybe the job's not going to last forever, or
Yeah,
we're not going to
there's
get
that.
those opportunities
True.
anymore.
Or but what we're, maybe you give them that experience, but you don't do it to the nines.
Yeah.
You don't stay at the Four Seasons, even if you can, maybe. I don't know.
Can't, by the way.
I don't know. I don't know. You got to keep it real somehow. I feel like even if you give them those experiences. But I really love that. You know what we do in line? What's that game that you go like this?
Heads up.
wait, is
Heads
it
up.
everybody
Everybody
around
around
you
you
hates
hates you,
I've seen
Maggie.
families play
What?
that in
What?
line.
Everybody around
Yes.
you
What is
no,
this
but other
game?
people get in on it. What is
What's
this
the
game?
game?
Where you put the word of something, it's like it's on the
yeah.
it's on
Yeah.
the phone, and it's a word. It's almost like it's not Pictionary.
help
what is
me.
that? Where you
The heads up?
Yeah, but what is it like?
when you
It's
do
like
that,
a word association,
like-
like a.
what is that game?
Ah,
How are we?
charades?
I don't, Mombre.
Somebody-
Charades. Yes,
Charades.
it's much
Thank
like
you.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except
It's like
it's not
digital
acted out.
charades.
It's just it is acted out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
you
you
show them the
can.
word
Uh-huh.
on your forehead, and they have to act
Yep.
out what they see on your forehead. You don't.
You
can't
gotta
or
guess
give you
it.
description.
You
That
want
is
to know
exactly
how weird my
charades,
brain
Danielle.
works? Don't put your phone on your forehead.
Oh boy!
Like, don't press your phone to your
Deviating
forehead.
alert again. Deviation alert.
But it's true. It's like I was like, you know what? Maybe this like 'cause
love
even
this.
when they were
Like
younger,
a-
I always wanted to do the fast pass. I'm like, I'm going to get my value out of the day or whatever, you know. And it's like, you know what, this wasn't that bad, when they have a friend or someone to talk to, and it wasn't like they were,
And
you
it's
know,
not
well, they
July.
did- okay,
Also, it's
and,
not July.
You know, a lot of places now in Florida, they've put the cues in air conditioning.
Oh,
Or there's
really?
shade and fans nowadays. I feel like that's starting to pick up at more places. Not
Really?
everywhere. Some parks are a little slower to catch up
Like
to than
name
others.
one that has that.
Well, Disney, a lot of their newer rides are now
Really?
have a lot of part of the
Oh, I
line
remember
in
Toy Story.
Sometimes
is like
the
that.
ride
Yeah.
is as much or more of an experience. Because what I could tell you, which one is it? The Star Wars
the Rise of the Resistance. has
Rise
a
of
lot
the
of
Resistance.
indoor. Yeah, just
I prefer the wait
the
in
queue.
line to the
well,
actual
both
ride.
of the queues
Because they
It's
make it
true.
fun.
It's so
They're-
cool.
yeah.
I don't even like Star Wars, and I was crying. Sorry, don't judge me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is
No, I'm
so
the same way. I'm
overwhelming.
not a Star Wars fan, but it's one of my favorite.
It was
rides.
it's insane. I don't remember anything about that ride. In fact, if you put me on the ride, I was like, hey, is this Millennium Falcon or is this Rise of the Resistance?
don't know.
I
It
would
was
not
cool.
know.
You would not know.
But you tell me the queue line where all the guys come out, the stormtroopers, Rise of the Resistance. I know.
All right. So I always end the podcast with Ask Me Anything. It's a random question that I ask you, and we all have to answer the same question. And I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot. Deanna, I forgot because I am in the middle of unpacking my house and trying to survive the holidays.
So just, you know what?
So
Come up with anything.
So here's what I want to pose to you all. Ask me anything. Like, let's just ask each other anything that comes to mind. Anybody have anything? I know. This is hard.
That's really good.
Well, I mean, we were talking about gift giving. I mean, what do you want?
Oh, I love that one. That'll be the Ask Me Anything brought to you by Laura Byrne. Ladies, what do you want?
This year, I got a couple things.
It could be material. You could interpret that however you want. What do you want,
What do you
Danielle?
really
I got
want?
4 things.
Go for
and
it.
I'll hit it real quick.
I love it.
A bidet sounds awesome.
A
Especially
bidet for your birthday.
Bring it
Especially if
back
the
around.
seat is heated. I want a chili
is.
pad because the chili pad, my husband and I do not agree on the room temperature.
what?
A chili pad.
What is
Thing that
that?
goes on under your
What is a
leg.
chili
From what
pad?
I
I have no
hear,
idea.
it is life changing. It uses water, circulates water, and cools your body. So like my husband wants the temperature. If he could have it at like 78 in our room every night, he would, and I cannot. So
Okay,
the chili
this is something
pad,
you lay on in your bed.
yeah, it's under your sheets. It's under your sheets. It circulates water. Chili pad.
Chili
It's
pad.
expensive.
Okay.
I haven't
Oh,
bought it
I
for
was just
myself
going to
yet.
look it up on my phone. How much
Wait,
does that
Danielle, does he
cost?
want it 78 because of the cost?
Absolutely
of running
not.
It?
This
Or-
man is
Oh.
such a chilly man. You have never met a sissy or man that can just build anything in life.
Shots
But if you give him just a little bit of chill, he cannot.
He chews too loud, and
But he's the sweetest. I love him. He's the best.
And he's always cold,
And he would tell you
But
the
we
same
love
thing
each
about
other.
me. The third thing I want is grounding sheets. I just learned about these. You
What is
plug them
that?
into the
Well,
wall, and it like pulls.
We had them. They're not comfortable, but you can get just the pillowcase or get the liner underneath.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we need
these,
to get you a bed makeover.
I just need a life makeover.
Yeah.
The fourth thing is a
sleep
facial,
daytime
and all of
segment
those
coming
things I
on.
think will help me just feel better.
Oh, I'm adding facial to
want a
my
facial.
list. I haven't had a facial in.
Me neither. I haven't done
20
a really
years,
long-
30
You can
Same.
probably tell.
Since my wedding.
Who gets facials?
I know people
Not
get facials
me.
once a month. And I'm
Same.
like, that
I
life.
know. Well, these
So we
places
all
have
want
memberships
facials.
now, so
What-
maybe
what
it's
do
a
you want,
membership to
Laura?
get.
Yeah.
I mean, like a day off to do like absolutely nothing. But then
Yes,
if it's like
please.
a thing, there's this new Dyson vacuum that also it mops your floor
no,
too.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know, and I was like, oh, because I am the cleaning lady in the house. So I'm like, gosh, that sounds
sounds
great.
really
It vacuums and mops.
It
that
vacuums
should
and
not
mops.
excite me as much as it does.
Oh, no, it
Right?
should.
Like I'm feeling a
I
certain
know.
kind of way right now.
Yeah, it's
Give her a moment.
right.
Yeah, give me a minute. Tell me the name again slowly. I'm kidding.
It's like the Dyson.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't remember the
baby.
exact name, but I was like,
tap, tap, tippy, tap, tap.
Well, I loved just the Dyson vacuum, so I was like, oh, but this one mops, so it's like, you know,
We want that. Deanna, what do you want?
You're gonna hate me. I'm always that person. You're like,
She
I
wants
don't
something for
know.
baking.
I don't. I do not want it.
No more.
Everybody-
Oh, I got to
everybody
return your
said-
present. No, I'm kidding. No, it's not. It's
Everybody
not that.
says they're like baking things. I think I got all the baking things
You're like,
covered.
good.
I want gift cards to restaurants, but local.
oh, I like
but
that.
local. I want
Yeah.
to try tons of restaurants in the St. Pete area, and I keep like throwing hints
Oh, I
at my
love that.
family.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that is cool. Little
I
date
love
night.
that.
That's it.
There's so many amazing local restaurants in St. Pete. If
Yeah.
and it's one of my favorite places. I live in Tampa, but I would 100% if I were to go out at night or go to dinner, St. Pete.
where
We
it's
have
at.
too many. I love Tampa. I love you, but we have too many big brand. What do you call it?
Chains.
Yeah.
Too many chains here. It's not
St.
special
Pete.
anymore.
I'm hating on St. Pete right now.
Really?
I am. So born and raised in St. Pete, and as soon as I could see an overpass,
She can.
as soon as I saw an overpass being constructed at the exterior of my neighborhood, I was like, ooh, that was a gut punch. And we actually moved. So we live in Pinellas Park now, and I know Pinellas Park has this little rap, but I'm here to tell you it is glorious, and I love it so much.
Pinellas Park. Is
Our
that where
trash
the
was picked
Italian
up.
market
Let's just
is?
real quick.
Yes,
The
it is where
Cosmo?
the Italian market is.
My friend owns
the
that
Cosmo.
market. My friend Amy de Cosmo. Yep.
We know them.
Like the actual,
You know
the
that-
Cosmo.
We know them.
I
They're
went to
amazing.
I went to high school with all of the Cosmos.
Girl, she's my Amy was my best friend
Stop.
sophomore year in high school.
This is Deanna knows all the brothers.
I'm sorry. This is we're definitely.
Oh my God,
I know,
we
she's
are
like,
the
we need to
queens
have a
of
conversation
deviation
about this after.
today. What is happening with our podcast?
That's what
today?
happens. You get a radio person and we'll take
Cosmos
you all
is
over the
Italian
place.
market in Pinellas Park
is amazing.
Please
so
go.
Don't let anybody hate on Pinellas Park.
It's
They
the
got
best.
Oh, it's the best food.
Restaurants,
Yeah.
the food there, all like Thai, Italian.
Sonny's barbecue.
No, but
for real.
Yeah, I'm
I do
done.
go to the Sonny's.
I'm done.
Well, you're right by my house then. We should hang out next time.
James, but Sonny's barbecue.
It's one of the good ones, right? There you go.
It is one of the good
good
ones. I like Sonny's. Okay, I have no idea what I want. I don't want to answer the question.
You guys only gave one thing, and I just popped off with a whole
I
list.
gave
'cause
no
haven't
things.
gotten
I
one
have
in
no
a long
things.
time. Sorry.
I have
all
no
those are all
things.
Maggie said what you
They're all
just
useful.
said to me.
Yeah.
What did I say to you?
You said you wanted a cast iron.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want things for your house.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't want
No?
anything for my house. I have just moved into a new house, and we have unpacked. Boxes that have been in storage for 7 years since we moved to Tampa.
wow.
And we had a house that was twice the size. And I don't know what to do with all this stuff.
Yeah,
And I
that's a lot.
regret
I'm going
paying
through
for
that
it.
too.
I regret
Yep.
paying all those years of storage.
Yep.
So I guess what I want is just peace, to stop unpacking, to just get rid of stuff, except for the one thing I don't have, which is a cast iron.
The cast iron.
You gotta find a
pots and
grandma.
pans are amazing. Your your
one.
grandkids will use those when they
That's
grow up. That's
the
how I mean,
thing.
pass
I
them
want
on.
to
life
sear
out of
a
it.
steak
Yeah.
in a cast iron.
You got to
pan
find a
for
grandma
Christmas.
that's
Is
had
that
one for
too much to
years.
ask?
Because then
And
it's already
seasoned and
seasoned.
flavorful.
Got her recipes all up in there
I
already.
think a friend of mine might be getting me something cast iron.
Okay.
Because I think I've only said it like
Wink,
18
wink.
times
I'm
in the
excited
office.
for you.
But yeah, can I just not ever have to unpack or move again? please?
Yes,
That
it's a
would be
nightmare.
Amazing.
It is. I know. I agree.
Well,
I
thank
agree.
you.
It's the word.
This has been fun and a nice break from all the holiday stress.
mental break.
I don't want it to be over, but it is. But you can listen anytime wherever you get your podcasts, Deanna.
Yes, you can do Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast. Watch us on YouTube and, of course, on WFLAnow.com.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Ciao.
Bye.